Who said that? Who told you that? What makes you think that? I got a word for you tonight. And I'm coming on at a time that I never do because this is something that cannot wait till 9 o'clock in the morning. This is for the person that deals with negative self-talk, anxiety, depression, identity crisis, rumors, gossip, fake friends, and just lack of confidence, fear. I want you to ask yourself, who said that? Who told you that you can't be successful? Who spread something about you without seeing it with their own eyes or hearing it with their own ears? What makes you think that you can't share your testimony? What makes you think that you can't start the business that you want to start? What makes you think that you can't do what God is telling you to do? Who said that? You know, let me tell you a little life lesson that I've learned and something that I wish I had known sooner. Asking where you got the message from, checking the credibility, the motive, the intent, and the weight of the words that you are putting on your life makes a big difference for you. Considering the source makes a big difference for you. And knowing what to be affected by and what to be inspired by makes a big difference for you. And in this season of life and in this new year, there are so many of us that feel called to do something. We feel called maybe to share our testimony. We feel called to go somewhere or move. And something is telling us to be fearful. Something is telling us that we can't do it. Something is reminding us of what someone said or someone did or someone thought. And it's causing us to plant seeds of doubt, fear, insecurity, anger within ourselves. And when we do that, all that happens is we become idle. We become unable to move at exactly the time and in the ways that we're supposed to. So if you are dealing with insecurity, gossip, negative self-talk, mental strains, I want you to ask yourself next time you're in the midst of a panic attack or you're wondering where all these heavy feelings and our emotions are coming from. Who said that to you? Because I can promise you, God didn't say that to you. Next time you're replaying what people said, thought, created, put onto you, ask yourself, does that person know who I am? Does that person know what they are talking about? If they are talking about an experience, was that person present for that experience in which they're speaking on? If they're talking a conversation, did their ears hear whatever they are quoting? Because if the answer is no to any of those things, then why are you entertaining that or them? They have so many people out here that are getting side-eyed, disrespected because of rejected people, because of misinformed people, because of messy people. And y'all just don't see it. Y'all don't see it. And the problem is, when you listen to things like that, when you get impacted by things like that, you let lies about you become lies within you. When you listen to the enemy and you feel, oh, you can't do this, or you're not good enough for that, or people are going to laugh at you, or going to fail. The lies the enemy tells you, they seem so true. And at that point, we have more fear of being rejected or embarrassed or abandoned by people that we don't realize our biggest fear should be disappointing God, not doing what God told us to do, not being who God called us to be. And if you are a person that has been in seasons of being still and are now transitioning to seasons of being bold, you're going to deal with that a lot. Because for years, you may have been told, okay, this person said this, don't react to them. This person is saying this, don't correct them. This is being spread, don't give it attention. You were so much in seasons of revelation that you forgot that seasons do not last a lifetime. Seasons can last days, weeks, months, or years. But just as there are seasons of being still, there are seasons of being bold. There are seasons at which you have to move mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And you have to understand those seasons of being still or those seasons of endurance. They were there to teach you. They were there to give you fruit. They were there to enlighten you. But then there's going to come a time that you have to apply them. And for a lot of people, you've gained all this patience. You've gained all this wisdom. You've learned who you are and who you're not. You've learned who your people are and who they are not. You've learned which family members are safe and unsafe. You've learned which friends were hanging around in your circle, but were by no means in your corner. Now is your time to do what you need to do. And your job, I can tell you, is not to go back and prove anything to them. It's not to say anything to them. It's not to correct them or make them see you. No. It's time for you to see you. It's time for you to do you. It's time for you to share that testimony with a person that needs it. It's time for you to step out on faith and make moves that you've seen for yourself for years, and now you finally have the shoulders, the wisdom, and the competence to move forward with. And I find it no coincidence that this year, or the second day of the year, that there are so many people that have, again, this divine discontentment, this feeling of, I have all this stuff, now what? What do I do with it? And they have feelings of fear. And look, and when I say they, I'm a part of them. That's something I still deal with. I could speak to you, but I speak to you from experience. I deal with fear. I pray that away. I really have done mental, spiritual, emotional work, therapy, both mental health standpoint and with pastor. I'm not ashamed to say that. That's my testimony. And if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that my discontentment, my anger, my blood boiling does not come from truth. If anything, truth soothes me. Sharing my testimony with people that need it, that are enriched by it, that are thirsty for it, I have no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. Because I had to live every single day, every single step, every single mishap in my life to have the mindset that I have. But I also realize that there comes a time where you will feel and you will know that this was the very last time that you will be still for some situations, for some conversations. This is the very last time that I will be silent for some reactionary, efforts from people. It's not about putting people down or proving your point. It's about knowing when it's your time to move. It's not about them. Those people that are in your mind, that you're thinking of, that maybe you replay things that they said or things that they did. It's not about them. Because I hate to tell you, 9 times out of 10, those people aren't assigned or aligned with you. You sit there and you wait for closure, or you sit there and you wait for an apology, or you sit there and you wait for people to see, I was wrong about this. I was wrong about that. I apologize. Do not hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Because some people are truly going to hold on to an image, a story, or a rendition of you until the pallbearers come get them. That should not be your problem or your concern. That's for them. Do what you have to do for you. And when I tell you, this past week, the amount of people that I've shared testimonies with, raw emotional testimonies, that had no idea of things that I experienced, things that I endured, times that I shut my mouth, and why, I realized that through all those situations that is the point of it all. Don't worry about people you lost. You didn't lose anybody. Everyone was revealed, just like in you, just like you did that inner work and you saw you're a people pleaser, you're a perfectionist, you're manipulative, you're immature. You saw all those truths about you, and you learned to accept the truths about everyone and everything around you. Don't throw that away. That was a part of it. Every single piece was a part of it. But now what are you going to do with it? How are you going to handle it? Because you can't go back. You can look at it and say, man, I should have did this. I should have gone. No, you shouldn't have. Because if you would have done that, you would have been acting in your flesh. And speaking in times of anger, engaging with fools, would have made your trial 10 times worse. Trust me, you did the right thing. But from this point on, I want you to speak life over yourself. Speak life over your situation. Make peace with the fact that all things work together. Make peace with the fact that whatever people say, think, or believe, that doesn't impact your life. That doesn't impact your truth or your purpose. What's that going to do for you? Y'all sitting here and y'all worried about people that are talking about you, but still dealing with the same strongholds they've been dealing with for the past 10 years. Y'all sitting here worried about people that are side-eyeing you, and they still haven't seen that the biggest error and the common denominator in their life is them. You're sitting here and you're worried about people in your family, not realizing they're all dealing with the stronghold that you're trying to pray off of them. Don't worry about these people. What are they going to do for you? What are they going to do for you? You know how many times I've heard things about me? Heard things about people in my family? Heard things about my friends that I knew were not true? And I gave zero life to? It would make your head spin. But I look back at it now with the eyes that I have now, with the faith that I have now, with the intelligence that I have now, and I think the biggest issue of all of it, and I think the biggest takeaway is, I just don't want to be anything like you. I would never want to be a person like you. So I'm going to do me, as you should do you. So for this year, we're going to be more intentional. And I wrote down a few things for us to follow together, because we can feel the same. We can empathize all day. We can say we have these struggles, but if everybody has a struggle and no one has a solution, what are we doing? Why are we talking? What is all of this for? So number one, I want you to look at the truth of who you are. I want you to think about the times of your life where everyone had it wrong, where everyone had you wrong, where people marked you off or assumed this about you or said this about you. I want you to think of those times, and I want you to accept them for what they are. And I want you to accept those people for who you are. And I want you to look at yourself as the person you are and understand that you are not punished or promoted by what people say, think, or believe about you. What they spread, what they say, how they view you has nothing to do with how God sees you. It has nothing to do with the heart of man. It has nothing to do with your purpose. So just like I said, if it doesn't bring peace, profits, or purpose, don't give it your time, energy, or attention. That's the energy we're coming with. Peace? Are these people, or is this memory you keep replaying, is it bringing you peace? No. We got to move past it. Is it working together for your purpose? Is it aligning with your purpose work? No. Move past it. Is it paying your bills? Is it funding your vacation? Is it putting money into your retirement or into your business? No. We got to get rid of it. But one thing we're not going to do is have any voice in our head that is not positive, encouraging, enlightening, or in alignment with who we are and whose we are. So let's let that be known. Whether you have to write it down, put it on sticky notes, put it on your mirror. If you have my first book, Questions, Christ, and the Quarter Life Crisis, that's literally what the sticky note comes from. Times that I had to write down Bible scriptures or facts about myself or things that are positive that I could look forward to and put them everywhere. Hide them, do whatever. Keep yourself focused. Know yourself and protect yourself, your peace, and your truth. So now that you focus on the truth of who you are and whose you are and what you want to do, you need to have tunnel vision. You need to have blinders. You need to have almost like headphones in every single day, to where you are so focused on what you want and what you're doing and what your purpose is, that opinions, emotions, obstacles do not get in your way. You learn from them, but they don't stop you, because you know what you're here for. You know what your goal is for this quarter. You know what your goal is for this week. You know what your goal is for this year. You don't have the time, energy, or attention for anything else. I don't care if it's your family. I don't care if it's someone you've known your whole life. I don't care if you do things to keep the peace with. I don't care what it is. Because you know what's a lovely lesson a lot of us learned? Keeping the peace with everyone else has a way of creating a war within you. We're not doing that anymore. And we're not just not doing that because it's 2023. We're not doing that because we've learned to be better and we know better. So let's apply that. We are honoring our testimony. That part of your life that was the catalyst for you. That few close people know, but the people that really need to hear it, that really need to be transformed by it, that really would cling to life if they heard it, you gotta share it. Your testimony is not a side. Your testimony is not going to be one of those things like, well, I heard you said this about me and I've been holding my tongue for years now, and let me tell you what really happened. Let me tell you how I really feel. That's not what it's for. A testimony is a tool. And the last thing you need to do is cast your pearls before swine. Don't give your testimony, pain, and vulnerability to people that don't want it, won't receive it, and don't know how to handle it. Give it to the people that need it. And do it with love. And do it from your soul, so that you know that those words can act as confirmation for somebody. Because people that are aligned with you and really need to hear it, those words are going to give them strength. It's going to give them peace. It's going to help them see that they're not alone. It's going to help them realize, man, we all have struggles, but we can learn from them. Man, we all make mistakes, but we can gain wisdom. Man, we've all been hurt. We've all been mishandled. We've all been misused. But that doesn't mean that we should throw ourselves, our lives, our hope away. Those are the people that deserve that. Don't waste your time, energy, or attention on anyone that doesn't. And turn your pain into power. If I can go back and tell my 20-year-old self something and really, really marinate into the brain of my 25-year-old self, is that this pain is what's preparing you. These letdowns, this depression, these thoughts that make you just question why you're even living, those even have a purpose. Being mishandled has a purpose. Reading people lie about you has a purpose. Letting people that you love mishandle you, disrespect you, has a purpose. Feeling convicted of your own wrongs or shortcomings has a purpose. The joys and pain of your life have a purpose. And you can feel them, and you can dive into them. You can take as long as you need to feel them. But what you won't do is be defined by them. What you won't do is be defined by anybody or any situation or any experience, whether it's positive or negative. Because all of your experiences are merely a snapshot in time. You got people out here that are being labeled by a choice that they made one day in their life, 1 year in their life, one season in their life. And these people are 30, 40, 70 years old. But y'all want to pick the ones where those people were their weakest? You want to pick the ones where those people could be played off as the bad guy and you don't even know what you're talking about? You want to pick the ones where people were drug addicts or suicidal or struggling in their marriage or lost the rights to their kids or got, their home went into foreclosure or they lost all them. That's the ones y'all want to pick? It's kind of weird. We don't do that. We don't do that to other people, and we don't do that to ourselves. You know who you are. You know your heart. You know your intentions. You know your motives. And you know your efforts. Protect the person that you are. And anytime you have these feelings or doubts or words in your head that tell you you are going to always feel like this, you might as well end it now. Shut it down. Anytime you have those words come into your mind and say, well, that's not what people think about you, shut it down. Anytime you hear the enemy saying, if you share your testimony, you're going to be so embarrassed, or people are going to say this, shut it down. Because all they are lies. And you know it's not from God if it brings you anxiety, depression, paranoia, suicidal thoughts, insecurity, negativity. You know it's not from him. So if you wouldn't entertain your physical enemies, why are you entertaining your spiritual enemy? I'm talking to somebody. I'm talking to myself for sure. Who said that? Ask yourself, who said that? And hold on to that truth. Hold on to the truth of who you are. Even if no one sees it, even if no one believes it, I promise you, you're going to be blessed in spite of it. God will literally use your enemies to build the table. I promise you. Everything in your life happened for a reason. The most amazing people I know have learned the hardest lessons, have made the worst mistakes, have fell on the hardest times. And they grew from it, and they learned from it, and they worked on themselves from the inside out, and they built their faith. They changed their mindset. Why would I or you or anyone care about the opinion of someone that has not done that? You can't even get you together. And I'm supposed to be worried about you? We're sitting here entertaining the enemy. We're sitting here entertaining the devil. He'll never be God. He'll always want to be like him. And that's the crazy part about it. He can't stop us. All he can do is distract us. And guess what we do? We take the bait. We get depressed. We dwell on things. We suffer and we replay failed scenarios. We take the bait and we give him our time, which slows us down and holds us back. It's not that we're going to lose or we're not going to walk into the promise, but it's going to take us a whole heck longer to get there if we're entertaining him. So no. Stay encouraged. Fast. Pray. Get around people that speak life over you. Get around people that make sense. And be mindful of what you allow into your mind. Be mindful of the things you watch. Be mindful of the music you listen to. Protect yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, professionally, at all times and at all costs. And it will be misunderstood. You will be talked about. Heck, some of those stories might be so good that maybe you should keep quiet and, I don't know, copyright them, get compensated for them, turn them into a best-selling song, a book, an art piece, like I always tell people. Use what was intended to destroy you, to develop you. But what you're not going to do is let it stop you. We're not doing that. Because we have too big of a purpose. And you know you have too big of a purpose if the enemy won't leave you alone. There's something out there for you. You mean something. You are a person's lifeline. You have to see it for yourself. So, next time you are questioning yourself, next time you're questioning sharing your testimony, next time you're questioning who you are, whose you are, ask yourself, who said that? Because if it's not coming from truth and it's not coming from God, you don't need to be listening. So I hope you guys relate to this word. I hope you guys resonate with it. And I hope it encourages you to remember who you are and whose you are. People are going to talk about you. You're going to have trials. It's life, but it's what we do with it and how we apply it and how we help people that says the most about it. So you guys have a good night, and I love you.